Hello there, good evening everybody, how's things? Goodness me, it's a Sunday evening, 7 o'clock. Where does the time go? It's been quite a busy weekend at Sanntangle HQ. We've had classes all Saturday and Sunday, so it's nice to sort of settle down and have a bit of a chill and do a little bit more of this quilt. So here we go, here's our instructions, and this is what we're working on so far. And I'm going to be working through each individual tangled block first, and then of course I'm going to put it all together at the end. Of course, if you're into your quilting, you know exactly what you're doing. You can do it whichever way you like, it's absolutely fine. But what I'm going to be doing is working through each separate section and taking it through as though you've never done this before. I'm by no means the expert. Maybe at tangling I'm not too bad, but you know, at quilting. But you know what, I enjoy doing what I do. I've made a couple of quilts, and it's just nice to share this one with you. So hello everybody, and where are we going to start? I'm sticking with set 1 stencils just for now, because it's nice to do these 4 first, and then of course if you want to actually do the rest of your blocks and you've just got set 1, you can do that, and you can actually try them in different ways. Or if you want to look at set 2 and set 3 and move on and do a separate blocks for each, then that's going to come with that as well. Of course, everybody in this group has got access to all of the videos, so they're going to be there. We're not going to take them anywhere. And last week we did this one, which here it is, look, with a bit of colour on. Again, you don't have to use colour if you don't want to, it's fine. And so this week I'm going to sort of dive straight in. We're going to do this one, the Dragonfly. I think that's really nice to do. And yeah, I'm going to start with my piece of sort of a peachy salmony colour. And again, I just want to find the middle a little bit. I'm just going to put a couple of little creases in, because it's always nice to sort of know where you're starting, isn't it? There we go, there's the middle. Now I could actually, let's do it that way a bit more, use my friction pen. A friction pen will iron off if I wanted to mark that, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's just a case of knowing where I'm going. So I've got my outer frame. You see it's been used before, got the pen on it, it's fine. I've got my dragonfly shape, and then I've got the inner bit here, quite flimsy I know, but I'm going to show you how to use that one, so don't worry about it. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to come on in, know sort of where the middle is, and I'm going to line up my frame. There we go. Line up my frame there. So I've got sort of even both sides. If any of you know me, I don't tend to measure anything. Quilting, of course, a bit different. You've got to measure a few things, but when it comes to this, I'm going to sort of do it by eye. So there it is. And just so we know, I'm coming in with a permanent pen. I just think it's easier that way. If we draw straight in with it, just gives it a little bit easier. But if you prefer and you want to draw it in pencil, or you want to use one of these, you know, the ones that you can iron off, it's entirely up to you. Honestly, whatever goes. I'm not going to be possessive, or I'm not going to expect you to do it the same way as me. I'm just showing you how I'm going to do it. So all right, first things first then, I'm going to draw around the outside of the frame, and again you see I'm using my permanent pen here, so take your time because that's the whole point, it's permanent. And then I'm going to go around the inside of the frame as well. Now, working with a pen on fabric, it needs a nice solid surface to work on, and of course, as you know, we've added some interfacing to the back. It's just going to give it a little bit more stability whilst we're drawing on it, because of course trying to draw on fabric is like wrangling a load of eels if you're not careful. I'm just going to draw in these slots now. I'm not making a mark, I'm actually drawing in each of them. So if I just hold that, you can see there, look, drawing in those slots and working my way along here. So every single one is going to have a little line in. Now if you're finding it tricky to hold these in place, not to worry, you can put a little bit of tape on there and hold it if you want to, or a little bit of fixative. But of course that can, if you're not careful, leave a little bit of a residue. Then we don't want that when we're drawing on our fabric. You can also use, there's something, you know, that'll actually press your fabric to make it a little more solid and easy to work with. You could put it in an embroidery hoop just to hold it on, but I I find that interfacing and a nice solid work surface works really well. Okay, hi everybody. Please as well, feel free to ask questions. Some of them I'm hoping I can answer. If not, I will always say I can't answer that right now, but I'll go and find out. But happy to do that. And of course it was nice last week, or this last week, to see that you've all started to put pictures on of the ones that you've done, even if you've just done it in a sketchbook and not committed it to fabric yet. It's fine. Oh, that sounds nice, Chris. Yeah, plain blue and spotted blue. That sounds lovely. All right, I'm going to take this one off, or if you want to, you can put this straight inside and it's going to give you a nice position to sort of start it with, but you don't need to. There it is. See, because I've drawn around, so I can line that up there. Okay, next job. Now, trying to draw around a shape like this, I don't know if you've done it before, trying to draw around points can be a little bit tricky. Let's just go in a little bit. So I'll show you how I do it. It might even help. So I'm going to go from this one and I'm going to work my way in. Now this is a bit of a tricky one there, so I'm going to stop there. And then I'm going to come from here, back round and stop there. You see, so I've joined that up. This one not so bad because it's got a bit of a shape to it. It's just if it's a real point, that makes sense. Here we go, move it along. Then sometimes it can bend, can't it, when you're trying to draw it. So draw up to the point, come back round and touch it there. Okay. All right. The next one. Hello everybody. It's lovely to see so many names. Thank you for joining me. Now I'm not going to move that one. I've drawn around it, look, but I'm not going to move it because this one, as I said, is real flimsy, and you're trying to draw around that, it's not going to be so easy. So what I'm going to do is push it inside that space there. And again, if you need to, you can tape it down on either side and hold it in place, and then you can draw around it a lot easier. There we go. I'm just going to go down to there. And I'm holding that in place. You see, it's quite narrow there, so I'm going to be ever so careful as I do it. Down to there, back to the top, and down again. You see? And then the same here. So I've got a hold of it. And just ever so gentle. You don't want to be pushing the stencil around. You just want to hold it long enough to be able to draw those shapes. Okay? Nice and gentle with that pen. You're not going to push it or pull it anywhere. And the same here. I'm going to come around this way. And then around this way. And then this bit. Along we come. And then back up. And there we go, all drawn. So we don't actually need to use those stencils now. They can go away. We've got everything we need from them on the fabric. So just before we make a start, I want to just bring you to the instructions here. Okay, so we're going to look at this one. Just slide that over for you. And it does say, look, Dragonfly centre and slots frame. So the first thing we look at is it shows you, look, from number 1 all the way through 2, 3, 4, all the way along. And then here, look, we've got 5 and 6 and 7. It's quite a few steps to put that in. But what I've also done is I've given you some different types of designs that you could do around your frame, so you don't have to follow the exact one. See, this one's quite nice for adding stitching in, if that's what we want to do. But I'm going to sort of go with the same one here, just so we can see exactly what it looks like on the page. There we go. This one. Perhaps I'm not going to worry too much about putting these bubbles in. I might leave that. But most of the others I'm going to put in. Again, though, it's entirely up to you. Your choice. But let's make a start. Frame first. So here we go. Now, bearing in mind I'm left-handed, so I'm going to start this side. But you might want to start here if you're right-handed. It doesn't matter. We're going to do the same with everything else. Hello, Sarah. Sheila as well. Hello. Okay, so I'm not going to start at the corner. We'll get to one of those. So looking from point to point here, I'm going to create a curve like that. And then working my way down the piece. Don't worry if it doesn't completely touch the top there. it doesn't matter. Okay. Just going to keep working it along. And then this one here, it's a little bit smaller. Oh, sorry. A little bit smaller. There you go, getting carried away. And then when I come to the corner, I'm going to do that with it. So I've still got a curve in. And then follow again. And all these little curves are going to go along. And sort of keep it going. Now some of your curves you find, you're going to get into the mode of it. But don't worry if they're all a bit different, it's fine. So back to the bottom, one into there, turn it round, into that one, and around, and follow through again, one to the other. There you go. You see these aren't as close as the first ones, but that doesn't matter. It's just all about putting the shape in, and there's going to be quite a lot of detail in this anyway, so we don't need to worry about that. Again, I'm just following one to the other, working my way along. There you go. Alright. As I say, some are closer to the edge than others. That's okay. We're just going to sort of follow it along. Into this one. That's quite quick, isn't it? It doesn't take too long at all to do that. There you go. So then, looking at the lower section, I'm going to do the same thing again. Now, of course, you could do it that way if you wanted. You could change it up. You don't have to do it the same. But again, this is sometimes it's nice that you can maybe sketch it out first and see how you feel about it. Or if you want to just sort of go in for it. Oh, Vi, I know, do you know, it's because I do it all the time. And you'll probably notice my hand doesn't really move much at all. It's just sort of notching down. So I'm in exactly the same position every time. Another good point to think of is if you keep it consistent, but rather than go like this really slow, just go for it, a nice confident stroke. Thread, yeah? And then that'll make life a lot easier because you get them a little bit closer in terms of how they look. There we go. Along. There we go. To the next one. And of course, we had this conversation a few times over the weekend as well. If one's not quite right, don't worry about it, keep going. And by the end of it, you'll not notice that first little issue. You just have to look at the whole picture and not the tiny little issues. Let's have a look at that. Okay, here we go. So that's our first little bit, all done. And yeah, you see these are closer than this one, but I don't really mind about that. It's not a problem. Just giving it a little bit of character, isn't it? Okay, so let's move in again. Oh, Deborah, yes, I can show you that, yeah. I'll do a little bit on another piece just before I get... When I've drawn it, I'll show you how we can shade it. There's a couple of ways, okay. So, looking at this next piece, what I want to do is, if I look at here, see, it's got these little lines drawn in. I'm going to leave them for a bit, and I'm going to focus on doing the main lines first, and then come and put these little flourishes in. So let's do two jobs in one go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a line going underneath like that. It's just sort of slightly inside, you see? And then I'm going to do another line close by, like that. All right. So then the next one, there's my lines. And notice I'm always pulling lines towards me. That just makes life easier for me to draw. If you find it easier to draw up bank, then you draw them up bank. If you find it easy to go horizontal, then of course draw it horizontal. But I honestly find it easier to draw lines that way. So you see I'm putting each one in as I go. Just means that I don't have to keep turning it as much. So you're going to see a little bit there, look. And again, I'm not measuring them. I'm just putting them in. Oh, yes, Sue, it is, isn't it? It's a different feel than drawing on paper for sure. And we do know it's permanent. Of course, it is on paper. So I think if you just sort of let go a little bit of the fear of getting it wrong, because who knows, it's wrong. All right. So let's just have a little look at the corners now. I'm going to sort of change it a little bit, and I'm not going to put one in here. I'm going to bring it straight into the corner, and I'm going to aim it either side. So look there. See, so on the angle. And then there. Again, on the angle. And of course, let's put those lines back in. And then back to where I am. I'm going to ignore this one. And I'm going to draw in that one there. And of course, these make fabulous cards as well. So if you're a card maker and you always wanted to try these, doing something a little more intricate, they make great little cards or pictures. You could even actually draw some of this and embroider it. It doesn't have to be a full quilt. You can use it for whatever you like. It could be on a pocket on a bag. Oh, Chris, don't you worry. We're with you every step of the way with this quilt. A quilt sounds like it's really big and difficult, doesn't it? But there are ways we can sort it. And of course, if it's all our first one, we don't want to be stressing about that. So at the moment, I'm just focusing on getting these little blocks drawn, or you can just call them sections or panels, whatever you want to call them. And we're just drawing, just having a little bit of a me time and enjoying just drawing it on something a little bit different. You see? There we go. And onto this next one. You see, just putting those in, and then of course I'm back to a corner to turn it. See, again, I've got that vertical right sort of facing me. And again, let's do a little bit of a gauge. It's nice to do that. You can sort of imagine where it's going to go first, and then draw it in when you're comfortable with it. There we are. Okay, and then we're back on the straight. Okay. Sheila, yeah, absolutely. You know, you can add all sorts of things in on it. I quite like adding buttons onto quilts. You know, all the different ones, but not actually stitching the buttons on, putting a bit of embroidery thread through and knotting them and just leaving them a little bit loose. I like that kind of thing, but to their own. And, oh yeah, Chris, absolutely. Tiny little bits. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this. I'm going to show you every single step of the way. So once we've done the little blocks or these drawings, I will show you how to put them together, and I'll show you how I do the wadding and how we do the binding and how we, you know, all that kind of thing. I think what we possibly might do is we might sort of do what we call quilt each one separately and stitch them together that way. That might be a bit easier for us. And there. But let's worry about that later. Let's just enjoy drawing these at the moment. Seeing how they work. Oh, Chris, I know what you mean. That's it. And, you know, it's nice to have that time. Although I did wonder, are we doing one a week? Is that enough? Or do you want to sort of pick up the pace? And do you want to do 2 blocks a week? So we can get on to things. It's just something I thought about, because, you know, a block a week, that's going to take us 12 weeks, and then we've got the rest of it to do. So it could be it's about 3 months, isn't it, for us to go from start to finish, if you want to do one a week and how to put it together. But I don't mind if you want to sort of, yeah, Donna, thank you. If we just want to do one a week and you've got other things on the go, there's no rush. We can do that. We can just keep meeting for one. And that does give you time, doesn't it? If you want to try it again, or you've got any questions you want to ask me before you do it. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, Chris, I wonder who owns a long arm quilting machine. Do you know anybody? We've got to work out how to build it first. We'll be fine. I must admit, after doing my first serious quilt, trying to get the double quilt through my regular machine was a bit of a nightmare. So, and I want to sort of be a little bit more elaborate with some of my quilting. So, yeah, I did branch out, but that's okay. I'm not going to use the long arm quilter to put this together. We're going to do it all by regular sewing machine. Okay, nothing crazy. All right. So here you go. I'm almost through it, look. It's not taking us so long at all. There you go. One more. And adding that in. And that one there. Okay, so let's have a quick look at that. Okay. There you go. So we've got those little lines in there. So, next little step. And again, I'm not going to put those little lines in just yet because it's nice to sort of talk through that with a bit of idea on shading as well. So you're looking at my instructions. So we've done 1, 2. We've not done 2. We're going to come back to that. Done 3. Done 4. Now we're going to do 5 and 6, really. Let's say 5 and 6. See these little triangles? I'm going to do those, but I'm not going to put the bubbles in. Okay? Just going to do the triangles. Here we go then. Yes, Deborah, I think it'll be easy doing a block at a time. No rush with this. So looking at this panel here, this little line in between the double lines, we're going to do zigzags. So I'm going to imagine zigzags. So then, of course, looking at this one, you've got to really look, even if you use your finger and sort of point at the one that you're going to do, because we've got like stripes, haven't we now? So we're definitely doing zigzags. See, we're going to see a bit of that there. Underneath. And you see I've actually gone the same way round. You don't have to. I just think we get used to stopping and starting in a certain place. See, I'm imagining. And the next one. Down. And then the next one. Oh. Zigzag. All right. And the next one. And then I'm going to turn to do this bit. So again, look, I'm going to do zigzags. And imagining, where is it going to come out? There it is. And turn it round. Again, just sort of reminding myself, I'm going to go the same way with all of these. See this one here? Imagining it. There you go. Moving my hair there. So there we go. That one, we've done this one. Imagining where it's going to come out. And the next one. Going to go up there, see? So this bit sort of starts the same, but they don't always end up the same coming out the other end, do they? And then here. And then this one. Again. I think we've got this, haven't we? It's just zigzags. Just remembering where we're going to put them on. It's coming up there, look. And then around. And I remember that the point is coming towards me first. There it is. You see? Just almost imagine. And of course, if you think that's a little bit tricky, you can always use your friction pen to draw those in. And then sort of irons away if you need it to. And then, of course, the next thing, I've actually been tangling all day. So this might be a little bit quick and you might not be able to keep up. So I don't want you to rush it. I want you to be able to stop and pause and do what you need to do to get this idea going. I don't think you've got to keep up with me, okay? I'm just sort of showing you in real time how to do it. There we go. And along. Down. So we've had a great time with the classes this weekend. We've had a few people in and out, a few new people, which has been wonderful. Some that we consider friends now that have been coming on over. We actually did a bit of an optical illusion this morning. So if you want to head over after to the Sanntangle page, you can see some of them are starting to post pictures. And then this afternoon we actually did a piece using, there we go, oh, done them all. Yeah, we did a piece using dark paper and a silver pen to draw it all. Okay, let's have a look at this then. Look at that. All right. So looking at my triangles, I'm going to choose this one because it's quite close and I'm happy with that. So I'm going to fill it with lines. See, go in the same direction. And I know this one is the same way, so I can only get a bit in there. And then this one, same direction. And I'm going to sort of get into the mode of putting these little lines in. And just following that same direction there. There it is. Okay. How long? You see? The next one. Now again, remember I went down, the ones pointing towards me, so there we are. We're going to have a few more in there, see? And the next one. And of course, we've got the pottery throwdown tonight to look forward to. I don't know if you watch that. That's my hometown, Stoke-on-Trent. So if you're watching that, I know Gladstone pottery. And when I was a little bit younger, I did spend some time working in a pottery bank. We call it a pot bank. Yeah, I did a few jobs on there. Probably the fittest I've ever been, if I'm honest. I used to work all day on my feet and then I used to walk home. Gosh. And walk there in the morning, of course. It was interesting times. I think I was about 18 at the time. 18, 19. I know. Those were the days, eh? Okay. See, I'm just sort of filling these lines in. Oh, I know, Sheila. It was, yeah. I know you were there Saturday. I know we did a couple of different pieces there. I like to change them up a little bit, so it'd be worth you having a look at them. There we go. See, sort of get it round. You know, when you get into this and you start with these little lines and things, you start to see things and you recognise where things are going to happen and what you're going to do with it. So it's not as tricky as you think, is it? It's just knowing where to put those first few lines and how to start, really. And that's where these stencils come in really well, because they give you that starting point and you've got an idea of size and where things are sort of going to go. Chris. Funny. Although Monty Python was a little bit before my time, I've got to say that. I'll see NEC March. It's a 4-day event in March, isn't it? See, I've got these triangles now going down. So what I want to do now, I'm going to focus on the other triangles. I'll do the corner first because you see we've got some full triangle shapes there. Oh no, Sheila, I wasn't going to put you through singing happy birthday to you, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Well, a bit of a bunch. So looking at these triangles, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this line here and I'm going to draw my lines that way. You see? That way. Okay. So let's put that into practice now on these. We're only going to see sections of these, so we've got to imagine where that's going to be. and put those shapes in. That one's not so bad. And then that one in there. All right, see? So let's come on in with all the rest of them now and put these lines in. There we go. So you can start wherever you like. You can go left to right, right to left, whatever you want to do. And just sort of put them in there. Even if the angle's a little bit odd, doesn't matter. As long as we've got those lines going in there. It's one of those little details that you're not always going to have to worry about. It's going to be sort of in the background. There we go. This is almost like we're going to sort of fill these bits in. There we go. So back into this one now. So we're already in a corner. There we are. I'll put one there, look. Along and there. Then back round. It's amazing, isn't it, how quick it starts to build up. It's just lines. I want to see a little bit more there. Keep my way along to that next one. And then into this one. And then this one here. You see? And this one. To the next one. There we go. Back to another corner. And along there. The next one. So just keeping it going. And along this one. And the next. Yeah. Yeah, this is a nice one. It really sort of gets you involved. It takes you in, and you're doing very, very simple lines, and it sort of takes on a bit of muscle memory, and you don't really pay attention to what's going on around you. And somebody calls your name if you're in a waiting room. You're like, no, I'm busy. Just got to do this bit. Not quite ready yet. And that one. There we are. Okay, there we go. And this one. And then before we know it, look, we're done all the way around. Look, let's have a look at the whole thing. Look, all the way around. Okay. So a couple of things then we need to sort of do in terms of adding our shade. This is why I've not done this one particularly, because Deborah asked me about shading, and there's a couple of ways of doing this. I'm just going to put a couple of those little slots in on my little scrap bit. Now you see this, that you can tell, look, I've got no interfacing, and you see the fabric moves. See as I'm drawing. So just put those in just so you get the idea. Now if you want to do this and you're going to use just pen and you're not going to use any shading, then rather than do these lines, which is what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do these little flicks, you see, and then that side. That's what I'm going to do around mine. You wouldn't do that on this particularly. What you would perhaps do is this way, and you'd put lines in real close and get a little bit smaller, real close. You see, and they get a bit smaller. You could do smaller there as well. Now I'm going to do that again in slow motion. So you do a couple of lines real close, and then you do a few getting smaller, a few getting smaller. Same on this side, and the same on this side. So you see you're getting that kind of thing. So when you actually look at it, you see you've got shadow. You could do it this way, what you'd have to, instead of doing a couple of flicks, the idea would be you do a few of them. You see, following the curve. And then that way, following the curve. Okay, so again, let's just have a look at that. See, you've got two different variants. This one gives you more of a curve, where this one gives you a little bit of a different kind of shape, but it gives you two different ways of shading. Of course, if you didn't want to use colour, again, let's put a couple of those in. Put those in. Now, of course, I wouldn't say that you should use regular pencil, because of course you wash it, it's going to come straight out. But what you could use, let's have a look, I've got grey there. Is that a grey? My pencil's a little bit further away than I am. Oh, it's dark green. Let's have a look what I've got here. There we go. So I've got a darker grey. So without using colour, what you could do is come in with just a bit of pencil and just add a touch in. Now when I say pencil, these are Inktense. So once I've done this, I'd add a little bit of water on them, let them dry. Of course, well, you're not going to add that much water. And then iron it so it fixes it in place. But you see, just actually adding that little bit, again, look, there you go, look, Derwent, Inktense, coloured pencils. So you'd do that, you'd add a little bit of water, just brush it in a little bit, and then iron it. So you've got you've got three different ways there of actually shading without using any colour. So that would work quite nicely. But yeah, as I said, what I'm going to do here, oh Deborah, that's no problem. That's why we said we do these live so you could ask questions. And I know not everybody wants to add colour, but as we know, the original quilt Leslie made, and she's added no colour to it. It was just black and white, so I'd like to do one that you can see both versions. You see? So I'm adding these little flicks in. And there we go. See? You don't have to add two. But again, I wanted you to have the option there. You don't have to put it in, but it's just giving it a bit of shape. Chris, honestly, I've never used polychromos and washed them. My only advice would be is if you get your little bit of scrap, yeah, you put some polychromo pencils on, you know, different colours, different, you know, some heavy, some not so heavy, and then put it in the wash. Even if you like put that bit of fabric in with a pair of socks or something, put it in the wash and see what happens. I've never used it, and so I can't honestly say. But I know the Inktense do, so. And of course you can get this, Sewing Street sell textile markers, so they're like felt tip pens, but for fabric you could use them. You could of course use paint. Again, I'd go with the fabric paint. I've got the Pebeo fabric paints. So you could paint it. So entirely up to you. Of course you could just draw it and then you could embroider parts of it. You could add beads and sequins or whatever you wanted to add to it, and that would give it some colour. So honestly, once you've created the image, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want to do with it. You see, I'm always starting from that inner edge and flicking outwards, because as you can tell, it's darker on the edge than it is on the inside there. Let's do a small, there you go, look. And it gets thinner as you go out, and that gives that impression about it going more at an angle. There you are. See? Same there. Just sort of work it round. Okay? Alright. And in and along. I mean, if you're going to have this and you're going to hang it and you're never going to wash it, then you can use whatever you like on it. Doesn't matter, does it? But if you are going to wash it, we've got to consider these things. It's not the same as drawing on paper in that respect, is it? corner. I'm sort of halfway there. Oh, wandered off. There you go. You see, just sort of working it in. And into this one. You see? And this one. So all around. If you think, do you know what, it's getting a bit too samey, or then just sort of move along and leave a few gaps and do more, and you can then come back and fill in the bits afterwards. There you go. See? Just keep flicking. And in we go. Keeping it going. There you go. Okay. And of course into these corners. So I'm sort of on my last corner here. You see, because we're sort of flicking it a little bit, it's not as heavy as everything else. So we can let it work its way around. You see? And keep it going. Oh, so that'll be nice, won't it? Of course, you can do all sorts of different things to match, and doing these in different colours makes a difference as well. And of course, what you could do, you could have actually done the wings, maybe with a bit of chiffon or something, and that would mean you could just stitch it down the middle and then have them sort of wafting around. There we go, look. So there's those little lines all around. Look at that, how much detail we've got in there. So it's giving that sense, isn't it, of shape. So moving on to the dragonfly then in the middle here. So let's bring back our instructions. I've got dragonfly centre and slots frame. So here it is. I've got different sort of tangles. We've already used this one, look, the little lines. Then here, look, I've got a bit of a grid with some squares in. And then this one, we've been doing this one today. We've got bits of little curls going on. You might want to practice these if you've never done them before you actually go into drawing them on your fabric. So these all sort of come together to create the shape. Okay. So, oh, that sounds nice, Donna. Sounds like a good idea. So where do we start with this? I'm going to start down the middle. And you notice, there you go, look. I've actually got these little bubbles. And then that's quite solid there. So let's see how that works, because it's quite narrow. So first things first, we're going to create a little shape inside here, look. There's one. And then there's my other. All right. Now, do I want to join it? I can join it if I want. But I'm going to put another one in there. Another one in there, a little dot. Yeah, looks like a little nose and a little mouth, doesn't it? Ooh. And all the way down here, I'm going to create little bubbles. Fill in all of that space in there. There you go. See how they're all touching? They're all pretty close together. All huddled up there. And then when I get to here, I can keep it going all the way to the top. Look, change my mind. Maybe a little line either side, just to give it a bit of dimension there. Go. Easy as that. So the next thing, I'm going to turn my, let's have a look. Yeah, I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to turn my little dragonfly round. Because what I want to do, I want to come from here to here in a little bit of a curve. You see, I'm already starting to put that in. So let's go. Curve. You see, top to bottom there. Same here, look. Curve. All right. So I've split up that space. And then I'm going to do the same with these two. Now I've not really got a point to go to here, so I've got to sort of imagine where am I going to go. And again, if you feel that you need to, you can go on in with your friction pen and draw it that way first. Let's have a look at that. Oh, a bit more. Okay. There we go. See? So I've got these little spaces. So this top one, we're going to do a tangle that we've already done. And that's where we create these little triangles across the top there. And then the same on here, triangles. You notice I started in the middle and I've done them facing the same way, working outwards. So I might as well keep that one. Oh no, I've not done it there. There you go. And as before, let's have a go with these ones. I'm going to put these lines in this way and this way. And same with that one. And on this side, this one. Okay, and again around there. You see, just following it through. There you go. So I've got all those done. See, not too long at all, that. And then these ones, I'm going to follow this line and go this way. And this way. And this way. You see, we followed it through that way, but you could actually come this way and do them if you want to. I do that actually. But no, let's do it that way. So we can keep them all the same, or you can sort of do mirror images. There you go. It's just about filling them in with a little bit of a design. See? And then I'm going to come across the bottom, but again, I'm going to start in the middle, work my way out, zigzagging all the way down. And then this way, all the way down. And then lines as before. Again, you could do a mirror image if you wanted. I'm going through and doing the same all the way along. To this one, keeping it straight with that one there. Okay. And then of course, back in this way, following that line. And of course, if you've got different colour fabric markers, you could do this in different colours. You don't have to do it in black. You could do it to match your quilt, whatever you wanted to do. Alright, you see, all the way down. That gives me this. Let's have a look. There you go. So then we're going to come in to do the other design that we'd got on the page there, and that was about drawing a grid, and it was sort of like crosses. Let's have a little look at it. Here we go. See, we've got crosses in there. So first things first, let's have a look. I'm going to sort of put a large one in, there you go, in this section here. So that starts me off. And whilst I've got that in mind, I'm going to do the same here. Okay? Cross either side. And then I can come along and do crosses this side. So it's going to get quite narrow there. And then this side. But I've actually got one in position that helps with the symmetry. And then, of course, this side as well. Now, I would rather draw the crosses in as they come rather than do zigzags and hope they match, because sometimes you find that they go off shape a little bit. Okay. And then here, look, I've got a large, so I've got something to work to there. So you've got that little line there, see? So I'll put that one in. And then here. And here. There we go. And then this one. And this one. Okay, so we've got all those. Now you can choose to leave it like that if you want to, or we'll follow the instructions, and it suggests that we draw a box inside. Oh, there you go. Box inside. Now you can fill this with black ink, or you can colour it. See, I'm going to get quite just a line in that one. Completely your choice. I think what I'm going to do is, there, so you're just going to get really a dot, because it's quite small. Let's do the other side. There you go. See, sort of putting a part one in there. little dots really. Part one's in and slightly different. I know, Donna. It's a little bit. This is why sometimes if you think that one's a little bit too much, then just do a part of it. You don't have to copy it exactly. Remember, this is your design. You're just using mine as a starting point. So just do what you need to do. Even if you put a little dot in each of these, or you just colour each square in it, it's fine. Let's have a look at that. All right. So looking at my picture here, I've actually got, I've coloured quite a lot of it in black. I'm not going to do that on fabric. But what it does show now is I've got all these bubbles going around the shape there. So let's do that. So starting here, so we've got quite a large piece. Let's start there with a bubble that fills that space. I'm going to do that one on that side as well, so I remember. And then I can fill this in all the way to the end. I'm going to go to the body there, see? And then this one, bringing it in all the way to the body. And then I'm going to start here and I'm going to go all the way round, filling in those lines, all the border really. We've got a border there, haven't we? See? All the way along. It's quite nice doing this because it sort of finishes off the edge. And again, you could leave it if you want. You don't have to draw this in. You could do it all with lines. See, I've got to the end there. So I'll do this one, see where this takes me. And you know, when you're drawing bubbles, take your time with them. Give them the time that they deserve, and don't try and press on and drag your fabric. You're just going to draw over the circuit here. Oh, Donna, I'm not expecting to do evening sessions all the time. It's just because I've had classes all day and I didn't want us to miss out and not do a Sunday. But next week we'll be back to, was it our 3 o'clock? We did 3 o'clock last time, didn't we? So yeah, Sunday it'll be 3 o'clock again as normal. Okay, and I'm hoping that things will get a little bit lighter and we won't have such dark nights as we carry on. So it keeps us busy, doesn't it? And then, of course, if you watch it, you don't have to do it right now. You can do this tomorrow morning. You see, I've sort of gone to the end of the wings. And let's do this one. Again, you could do this, just colour it in if you want, or do it in a different colour entirely, or lots of options. Okay. There you go. And then we'll put a larger one in there, see? And fit one in there. And then around we go. Way along. Okay. And then all the way around. It just sort of works nicely that way. It gives us a bit more of symmetry. Just adding bubbles in strategic places like that. And then work our way around. Okay. So it's almost like 3 rows of bubbles there, isn't it? Just giving it a little bit of definition. There you go. All right. So once we've got our little dragonfly, we need a little bit more on it. So, you know, we talked about these shapes here, where we've got a curve all the way around and then back up. Or you might find it easier to draw it this way. Whatever works for you. As our next little bit then, just inside here, I'm going to come in, create a curl, and then back up. And then from the back of this one, round and back up. Again, if you've not done these before, it's really worth just practicing these to be sure you've got them first. Okay, let's put see in here I can have them going either way. Let's put one there and one there. See how they sort of curl around each other? Maybe which way to go? This way. Have one there. And then I'm not going to try and repeat what I've done there. Although this one probably feels like it wants to go this way, but I'm not going to look because they're not going to be the same. So accept that before you draw it and go with what you think and where you think that you want them to go. Okay, I'm going to put one in there. So I'm not looking and my hand's got it covered on purpose. I'm just going to put them where I want them to be. Let's have one there, look, see? So look, completely different, and that's what we want. Around there. You see where we've got sort of little gaps at the top? We can come in and we can add in some bubbles. Just in that top section there, just to give that a little bit of depth in there. There we go. See? Alright, so I'm not doing bubbles completely all the way down, but it's just nice to have a few wandering about. Okay, and let's do a couple at the top as well, so sort of around this area here. Maybe one up there. Again, take your time with these, don't try and do them too quickly. And don't try and do them if you've never done them before. Practice a little bit first. Okay. So one there. Alright. And there. There we go. And again, just a few little bubbles around the place. Just sort of giving that bit of a base there. Okay. Let's have a little look at that. Okay, so I might even actually put a couple of sort of loose ones there. You see they're just sort of falling away, quite small. A few little bubbles. Okay, now instructions wise, let's have a look again. It does show these little shapes, look, around the outside there, making a border. But you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it without any corners because I think it'd be nice to sort of stitch around there, and if I want to later I can come and put some in, but I think for now I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it quite crisp like that. I think that's quite nice. And then of course a little bit of colour. Now I did show you sort of shading a little bit early, but I'm just going to go through a couple of bits and then I'm going to sort of leave you to it because of course it could take an hour to shade all this together. I'm going to stick with the same colours I've used before. And that's, you see, I've got sort of reds, oranges and a yellow. Definitely need a white. And I also mixed in, I've got a blue. And that's because my fabric, I'm using orange. And I've got a blue fabric coming in as well. And if I just do a quick show you of that last one. You see there, I've got a little bit of blue in there. But of course, you don't need to use colours if you don't want to. So I'll show you a wing and then a little bit of the border and then I'll let you get off. So this bit I'm going to do blue, I think. With this bit, I'm going to come in and add some of that darker red just on that edge there. Okay. So I do the same along there. A little bit of my lighter red, just pulling it down a touch. Not going to go all the way to the edge. A little bit there. Then of course when I come off air, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a bit of water over that and let it dry. So let's do the same. I'd do the same at the bottom there. And the top triangles, I'm going to come in with my orange. There you go. Same there. And a little bit of white just on the edges. You see, little bits. And then, as I say, with my my blue underneath, I'm just going to add a little bit underneath there. Just there, see? And same here, look, along there and there. Okay, so it gives me that. And I do the same along here, look, a little bit there and a little bit there too. Okay, as far as these are concerned, just a little bit of a highlight. See, just a little bit. Making it through there, and then in the middle probably come in with that darker red, just a touch, you know, just along there, just giving it a little bit of a hint as to some colour. And then my outer shapes here, again using the darker red, a little bit either side. See, I've pressed on and then I ease off, press on and ease off. Press on and ease off. I'll bring a bit of orange in there, just ever so gently, just pulling it more towards the middle, and then a little bit of white, and then we go. You see the little lines here, I'll come in with my blue. And then underneath, I'm not going to colour all of these in. I think we've got a little bit of colour in the middle. I don't want to overdo it, but I'm going to bring in that darker red and just add a little bit underneath there, like that. You see? And that just gives it that little bit of depth. Okay? So that sort of starts me off there. You see that's giving it that little bit of depth. Or, as I say, you could look back and you could have a go at drawing and doing a bit of shading that way as well. So with that in mind and that done, I'm going to leave it there for you. I'm going to give you the week to get this sorted. Please ask any questions you need to, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Or, you know, any ideas or any thoughts, you can put those on the page, and let's see your pictures when you've done and sorted. That would be great. And okay, I hope you've enjoyed it. And our next one, which again we're going to carry on with set 1 mini. We're going to do the star next time. I think this one here. So whether it's pen and paper at the ready, whether it's fabric and everything else going, whatever you want to do, but please ask me. It's not a problem at all. Even if I don't get back to you straight away, and we will get back to you. Even if I don't, Chris sort of messages me and says somebody's asking. So happy to do that. So yeah, enjoy it everybody, and I will see you next Sunday at 3 o'clock, ready for our next one. Okay, so have a good weekend, have a good week everybody, and I'll see you next one. All right, take care everybody. Yes, Cheryl, I will. It's just I've looked at the time here and we've been on for an hour, so I thought that was enough for you. And yeah, I will definitely next week show you how to use the water on it. I know there's quite a lot of things to do, and I don't want to sort of overwhelm everybody and do everything all at once. So if you're not sure about the pencils and putting water in, just colour it in ready, and I'll show you how to do that next week. Okay. All right, take care everyone. See you soon. Bye.